Do you love making potato salad with potatoes pulled fresh out of the garden or slicing into a big juicy onion to put on a summer burger? Well, if that's the case, I'm going to tell you how to plant potatoes and onions in the garden. Jessie here from Tonkdale, and it's easier than you think. At Tonkdale this spring, we are selling potatoes in 2-pound bags and onions in 1-pound bags. We're selling 4 varieties of potatoes, everything from Yukon Gold to Norland Red, everything between. I think there's a purple variety too. Seed potatoes come just like that. They look like a rusty old potato, and they're pretty easy to prepare. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut them into 2-inch sections, and you want to make sure each section has 1 or 2 eyes. This is where the shoots will emerge. You can see, and sometimes if you leave your potatoes in the cupboard too long, or the pantry, they will sprout. That's what's going to sprout and grow above ground. So this potato I could probably cut into 4 or 5 chunks. You cube them kind of just like you would at Thanksgiving when you're making mashed potatoes. After you cut them up, you're going to let them cure overnight, and that just means you kind of let them dry and harden off overnight before you plant them. It's time to plant potatoes and onions in the garden when the ground is finally tillable and holding at about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Folks, sometimes this happens at the end of April, but likely this year it might be closer to early May, just depending on how much sunshine we see in the next few weeks. Once the soil is tillable, it's not a bad idea to amend the soil with compost, such as the Purple Cow activated compost. I love the Purple Cow activated compost. It's amazing, and it grows really big spuds. So potatoes, once the sets are cut up and cured, you're going to plant each section about 1 foot apart. So from a 2-pound bag, you'll get between 12 and 15 sections. So that'll be about 12 to 15 row feet. You'll be able to plant a row about 12 feet long, or 2 6-foot rows, however that works out. So each bag is a pretty generous amount of potatoes. When you plant potatoes, you want to make sure you're planting them in full sun. The same goes for onions, and a couple inches below the ground. Once the foliage emerges and you have about 12 inches of growth, you can hill, and I can only just mime how you would do this because I have no soil to work with right now. You hill the soil around the shoots, because where soil covers up the shoots, you'll get more potato tubers sprouting. Okay, so those shoots become roots, if you will. So you'll hill the potato 2 or 3 times per season. If you don't get out there and do it all that much, you're still going to have delicious potatoes. Once the potatoes set flower, so the flowers they're kind of tiny yellow flowers. They actually kind of look like the flowers you'll see on tomatoes, because they actually are in the same plant family, Solanaceae. They're called solanaceous crops. Once they set flowers, you're going to fertilize with an organic fertilizer such as Garden Tone, and it's really easy to follow the directions on the bag. You'll fertilize with Garden Tone, and then keep them well watered throughout the season. Both potatoes and onions are going to need about 1 to 2 inches of water per week, and that can come from irrigation or from rain. Okay? When watering, and this is just best practices for any vegetable garden, when watering, it's best if you can water right at the ground or the base of the plant, avoiding getting the foliage wet, because this will cut down the risk of fungal diseases. So drip irrigation works really great, soaker hoses, or even just getting out there with the good old-fashioned watering wand works great as well. Let's talk about onions. These are going to be long day onions, and long day onions simply mean they need 12 to 14 hours of sun. And yes, we will get that amount of sun later on in the summer to form those big bulbs that you can slice and dice. Here we have a white onion. And when they're sold like this, they're called onion sets. So this is different from starting onions by seed or as plants. This is a really great and inexpensive way to go. So you're going to plant onions about 6 to 8 inches apart. You can do the math here. I would say you're going to have about 12 to 15 row feet, just like the potatoes. So you're going to plant them pointy side up, 2 times the height of the bulb deep, So you'll go down 2 times the height, maybe 4 inches deep into the soil. Spacing them out, well-drained soil and full sun is going to be great. Onions do like a sandier soil, so you have some areas in your veggie garden that drain rather quickly. Onions are going to love that. Now you don't need to do the hilling with onions like you do with potatoes, but it's a good idea to fertilize once or twice throughout the season. Watering well, about 1 to 2 inches of water per week, because when you cut into an onion, there's so much water in that bulb, and that gives them all that really great flavor. You're gonna harvest onions once the tops or the greens kind of fall over flat later in the season. However, it's not gonna hurt if you get in there a little bit early. It just will depend on what size onion you're looking for. You can harvest some of the greens early on if you'd like to use the onion greens, or if you'd like some smaller onions, you can harvest them whenever they're ready. So that's planting onion sets and seed potatoes. We also have a great blog available. Make sure to save this video so when it's time to plant, you can go back and refresh. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Tonkadale.